to thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no problem. It's more than a pleasure.
So I just wanted to thank you first. Thanks for the tea, and thanks for having me in your home. I did want to ask, what do you like to be called? Do you like to be called by your first name? Or
You can just, Mackenzie's fine.
Mackenzie? Okay,
Yeah.
Great, Mackenzie. So I just wanted to explain to you what the session's going to look like today, since this is our first session. Basically, we're just meeting to see, kind of what's going on with you, so I can get to know you as a person, and maybe some things you're struggling with and things you feel like you're doing well with, and then probably at the end of the session, we'll talk about what are some of the goals that we would have for next week if you're still okay with meeting. Does that sound okay?
That sounds fun.
Okay. So, and before we start, really talking about different things, I just wanted to let you know that anything we say here is confidential, except there are a few things that are exceptions. So if you made any indication that you might harm yourself or someone else, or that perhaps someone was being abusive to you, or there was some abuse going on, I would have to report that. I'm what's called a mandated reporter.
All right.
Okay.
Thankfully, I only live with my cat, so I think I'm safe.
Okay, good. So if you understand that, so there are some caveats to the confidentiality, but for the most part, anything that we say here will be confidential.
Absolutely.
Okay,
That's
so you're
fine.
comfortable with that? Okay, so actually my question for you would be, could you let me know a little bit about how you got involved with our agency? Did you seek out services on your own, or did someone else refer you?
Well, I had a friend that was talking about some sort of program she was involved with, and she referred me. I don't know. She just told me she thought it would be a good idea for me.
Okay, great. So she had some experience with us, or she just heard about it and thought it might be...
No, she had some experience with it.
Okay. Well, that's great. I'm glad that she gave you our information. So just to get to know a little bit more about you, I was wondering if you could tell me who some of the important people are in your life.
All right. Well, I can start with my family. There's Jonathan. He's my son. He lives in New Hampshire, so he's pretty close to here.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife, Carol. And then, of course, my granddaughter, who, I moved up here to be closer to. She's a doll. She's in high school. Now I've got my cat. She's roaming around here somewhere.
Yep, I think I saw her.
Her name's Zara. I don't know, she lives here. She runs this roost.
Yeah. Wow, she's very cute.
Oh, thank you.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about your son?
Oh, Jonathan. Jonathan's in his late 30s. He lives, like I said, in New Hampshire, in Derry, with his wife and my granddaughter. Jonathan, he's a mess of a boy, let me tell you. You'd think I'd raised him right, but he's a little rough around the edges, but I love him anyways. He's actually a construction worker, so he, besides doing his construction work, he does a lot of antique restoration.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so he brings me all sorts of trunks and chairs he gets from the antique shops and the flea markets in the area, does whatever he does to them.
Great.
He's a nice boy. His wife, Carol's a little... She's not my favorite person, but, we get along in mixed company. She's a little strong-minded, that one. But I guess so am I. Maybe that's why we butt heads. I don't know. He got married young. So he was out of the house by the time he was about 20.
Okay.
So we keep in contact, but I'm much closer to Grace than I am to him. Grace, my granddaughter. Like I said, she's in high school. She's a really good art student. She does play the flute, which I think is great. I can't play an instrument to save my life. I don't know. What would you like to know?
Well, so how often would you say that you see your son?
I see him about once a month. We try to do dinner together, all of us. I see Grace way more often.
So does she ever come overnight, or does she just come for the day?
A few times she stayed over, but now that she's a teenager, she really wants to go home and play on her cell phone and get on the YouTube and the Skype. But she does come over a few times, probably once a week, once every 2 weeks, and keeps me company.
What do you guys usually do together when she comes over?
Well, she'll work on her homework or something on the kitchen table while I cook her dinner, or we do watch NCIS together.
You mentioned that you like that show.
We do love that show. We're a Gibbs family here.
I haven't seen that show, so that doesn't mean a lot to me, but I'm glad that you have a show that you enjoy watching with her.
Wish I could remember the gentleman's name who plays him. But I can't.
Okay, that's okay.
All right.
So let's see. So we talked about your son, your daughter-in-law, your granddaughter. Do you mind if I ask, have you ever been married?
I was. My late husband, Anthony, he died about 4 or 5 years ago now.
I'm so sorry.
He had some medical problems, but God bless his soul.
So 4 or 5 years ago, that still seems pretty recent. Has a lot changed since he passed away in terms of what you do on a daily basis? Or?
I would say so. I mean, he did a lot of cooking, so I had to step up there. You know, a woman of my age, I don't like learning new tricks, so that was fun there. I mean, he did a lot of things around the house, and now I have to, if something goes haywire, the sink is leaking, I gotta call up my landlord and see if he can help me out. Whereas Anthony used to handle most of that around the house.
Okay. And would you ever call your son Jonathan for something like that, or no?
I don't think that boy would know how.
He works in construction, so he doesn't.
Not when it comes to piping.
Okay. I figured that if he was handing in one way, he might be handing another. But is your landlord responsive though?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes it takes him a little while, but he does get there.
Okay, that's great. So, so there's some struggles there. How do you feel like you've been doing emotionally since your husband passed away?
Well, I mean, it hasn't been easy. You lose your best friend, and that's a little bit difficult sometimes. You lose someone to talk to and bounce ideas off and tell about your day, but you do the best that you can. Zara is an excellent listener. So I talk at her often. She hasn't responded yet, but I'm still waiting for the day.
That's okay. Did you have her when your husband was alive, or did you get her afterwards?
No, I got her afterwards. I thought that might be a good step for me.
Yeah, that sounds great. Pets are great. So those are the important people in your life right now, you would say?
I would say so, yes.
Okay. Sounds like you have some good supports. Do you like having her around the house?
Zara? Absolutely. She keeps me company. We watch NCIS together. She helps me do my laundry. You know what I'd do without her.
She helps you do your laundry. That's pretty
Absolutely.
impressive.
She sits on it.
Oh,
while I try to fold. It's very comforting.
That's one way of helping.
For everybody.
Well, that's one way of helping. Well, that's great. And how about a typical day for you? What does a typical day look like in terms of activities?
Pretty standard. I wake up. I get a pot of coffee going to make it through the day. I try to do some chores around the house. Sometimes I'll go visit my friends. Got a few people that I'll watch some shows with, or I love dominoes, to be honest with you. Dominoes is my favorite, so we'll all get together and play.
Oh, that's great.
I don't know. I think that's really about it.
So are you happy with, that level of activity? Does it feel like it's too much, too little, or just about?
Oh, it's just fine. I'm exhausted by the time I get home.
Yeah, but a good exhausted, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
Okay. And
Zara, what are you doing, girl?
falling. So that's about your typical day now. Are you retired?
I am. I was a hairdresser for 57 years.
57 years? Wow.
57 years.
Was there something you always knew you wanted to do, or?
Yeah, from a pretty young age. It was either that or have some sort of career in art, but I decided I did not want to be a museum curator. Thought I'd cut hair for a living. I had so much fun doing it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I did. It's a lot of being on your feet all day.
Yeah, but a lot of interaction with people.
Yeah,
I would say. Lots of hard transition for you to retire?
It was difficult at first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just going to get all up in your teeth. I mean, if you go from doing something so often to, sometimes I'll have a few clients that will come visit me here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll still provide them services, but for the most part, it's a whole level of interaction you're not getting anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, so it sounds like you're still a little bit part-time. You still get a little of that feel.
Occasionally. It keeps me going.
Well, that's good. And so that sounds like it was something that was really enjoyable for you. Are there other things that you do for fun nowadays?
Well, about once a week I'll go and take a swimming class. Let's see, what else do I do for fun? I'm a very avid reader. I found now that I have the time,
Mm-hmm.
I like to sit up with a book and, read as much as I can before it puts me to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, just keeping this place together.
Yeah, well, it does sound like you have some pretty busy days. And so those are things you do for fun. I have a couple more a little more serious questions just about how you feel you're getting on around the house, because you did say that you're trying to keep, the house together.
It works most of the time.
Okay.
I have a few struggles with a few different things, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not giving up on them yet. I'm a little bit on the shorter side, and I have some trouble reaching the top cabinets in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point where I didn't like climbing on the counter anymore after I turned about 32 years old.
Well, yes.
I had to move all the dishes into the sliding drawers that
Mm-hmm.
are, down a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
What about, do you have any issues just with, we call them activities of daily living, but really it just means like getting dressed, using the bathroom, taking a shower, those kinds of things?
No.
No? How's your sleep been?
I wish I got more of it.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. It's not bad. I don't know. I think I sleep a fair amount.
Okay. Is it interrupted sleep? Do you wake up a lot during the night, or you just don't sleep that much?
No, I generally sleep through the night unless Zara needs something. But for the most part, my sleeping's fine.
That's great. Great. How many hours do you think you get a night, would you say?
I'd say about 6-7 hours.
6-7 hours? Okay. And do you feel rested when you get up in the morning, or?
Not when I get up, but after I've been up for about an hour.
Yes. Okay. All right. That's great. So it seems like you're doing okay around the house. The height issue's a little difficult, but I wouldn't recommend that anyone be climbing on the counters anyway. I can relate being short myself, but I wouldn't recommend it. So sleep is okay. How about eating? Do you have a good appetite, or?
Not like I used to.
No.
But, yeah, it's just half the time I don't know if I want to cook or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you don't feel like cooking, do you order food out, or do you go somewhere to get some?
I'll either order in.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes my granddaughter will come over and
Mm-hmm.
we'll get whatever she wants
Mm-hmm.
and we'll watch something together. Or, I'm a Southern woman at heart. We always have grits. It doesn't take much effort.
Okay, well that's great. And so even when you're not feeling like cooking, you have someone to eat with, or just something, as backup. So that's great. And you haven't mentioned anything, but have you had any struggles with physical health? Is there anything significant that you can think of?
Not in quite a few years now.
Okay. So when you go to most of your doctor's appointments, they haven't diagnosed you with anything?
Pretty standard.
Okay. Great. And you haven't been feeling ill lately or anything like that?
Well, it is winter in New
Yeah.
England, so, you'll get the sniffles and the shorter breath, but I'm pretty sure that's normal for everyone around here.
It does sound pretty normal. Okay. And then, so we talked about reading and some things you do for fun. Do you have any questions from today?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
To ponder on that for a moment.
All right. So as I mentioned before, we would ideally set up another meeting for next week. Is that something you'd be okay with?
Yeah, sure. Love the company.
Okay, Great. And is there anything that we talked about in this session that you would want to talk about next week, or anything we haven't touched on that you think would be important to talk about?
I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have any qualms talking about anything, so whatever you want to know about.
Okay. So maybe for next week, some of our goals can just be just trying to come up with ways maybe that you can make the most out of your day, and maybe even, as silly as it seems, coming up with some ideas for how you can get around more easily, especially being a short person and not being able to climb on the counters anymore. It sounds like you came up with some great ideas about moving the dishes down to the drawers.
And some other things, like I have the hardest struggle getting down to the basement to do laundry.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely something we want to talk about.
I don't know, I just don't do stairs as well as I used to.
Yeah, so the laundry down in the basement?
It is.
And are you normally the person that brings the laundry down?
I am.
Okay. Yeah, and do you just have trouble getting down the stairs with your balance maybe? Or?
Yeah, that's mainly it. You know, if I'm trying to balance a basket and getting down there at the same time gets a little bit difficult, but...
Okay, definitely something we can talk about next week.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it was lovely to meet you.
It was nice having you.
Okay.